Hello there, Internet, and welcome to a quick look at a demo for a game that is currently in the first few weeks of its Kickstarter campaign. I have no idea what it's like, but as I've said in videos before, one of the things that I really like is when developers use settings that don't see a lot of attention. I mean, I may not have liked Tales of Kinzera particularly in terms of its metroidvania-ness or how it handled a rather sensitive story, but I do appreciate the fact that it highlighted a culture which doesn't get a lot of look in video games in general. Likewise, things like Bleeding Deities, where historical periods and cultures that just don't see a lot of screen time are presented. So this is one of those games. It is a game that I'm playing because I'm interested in seeing two things. First of all, what it's like as a Metroidvania, and secondly, I'm interested in broadening my horizons for how worlds in Metroidvanias can be presented when it very specifically and clearly totes it as being inspired by a different culture, a culture that perhaps I don't know much or anything about. If that sounds like your cup of tea, then hopefully this will be an interesting experience. Let's find out. This is a prototype. So we have a pause menu, we have move on D-pad or left stick, dash on R2, where it should be, staff attack on square, cast spell on triangle, throw water on circle, and jump on X, all where they should be. Controls are in the pause menu. That screen looks a little bit blurry. Jump feels good. We've got a little bit of a light halo around us. We cannot go left at the start. We do not have a map, but again, prototype. Can we go in the well? Well, we cannot. The moon weeps for the water that has gone and guides him to its source. Right, there is parallax on the very closest layer, and it looks a little bit weird that the trees are shifting with us. I can't remember because it's been a while since I've looked at this kind of stuff, but isn't the first background layer of parallax supposed to basically be still? And it's the ones behind it that give that sense of depth. So these trees here should be positioned, and they should stay there because we're running past them and they're close. Otherwise you get this weird slightly shifting thing. Well, yes, it means that the parallax is working, but the fact that the rocks are moving... Weirdly, this fence... Is the fence moving? I don't know. Oh. Oh, that's a dash. Oh, okay. I put water in the well. That probably needs to be made a little bit clearer. On the subject of clarity, whatever you are using to scale your font up has... You haven't got your pixel... you've got filtering on it. It looks like it's got bilinear filtering on it, as opposed to being nice and crisp. This place, it's wounded, sealed by a curse older than the stones themselves. Full stop. I've been trapped here for so long. Beyond that tree ahead lies freedom, but I cannot pass. Stop. You must find the forgotten spell buried deep below. Follow my voice, and I will show you the way. This does move on automatically, but it takes a while. But you can press the button to move it on yourself, which I appreciate. Wait, why are you trapped by this tree? We can walk through it. Did I misunderstood that bit? Misunderstood. Great use of tenses there, Demagen. Did I misunderstand that? Mountain restored. Okay, could do with a little bit of, sound effect and so on and so forth. Again, the parallax. Looks like I need some sort of a spell to clear the path. Okay. Oh, is it that tree that she couldn't pass? Oh! Oh yeah, I can dash, can't I? Oh, the colour palette shifting. Oh, that's foreground stuff. Being able to tell whether something is in fact a foreground or background element. See, that looks background elementy to me, because the foreground elements have got a line around them. So that is a level design snafu. The path ahead is still sealed. Full stop. Even I cannot pierce it. Full stop. The spell you seek, it isn't here. Not yet. Go the other way, child. Let the stones hear your steps. Stop. Find the word that opens doors into old wounds. There's excuse me. There's a nice degree of kind of gravitas, kind of almost kind of archaic weight to the way this is written. That parallax. It's just not right. That's not the way it should work. A goat? With crazy eyes? Now, because this does specifically say it is a prototype, I'm not going to... Oh, okay, that's just disappeared. I'm not going to comment too much about the congruity of pixel art, but if you compare the pixel art of our protagonist to the pixel art of the crazy-eyed goat, you'll notice that the crazy-eyed goat has an outline around everything, whereas we do not. And that inconsistency doesn't look great. Also, there's a rogue pixel. I don't see that. That's there. You're so nitpicky, Demagen. Yes. Yes, I am. But again, remember, this... Whoa. A little bit of smoothing on the VCAM transitions. Possibly necessary. Can I throw water at you? I can. They just run away when they've got water on them. I think we got a substantial amount of jump buffering then. A purple thing. Cast Amalu spell. Press R or Y? Oh, no, I can get up there. Just. Ooh, that hard edge. Oh, we're here. We have done a loop. Yeah, but see, the art style for this is very clearly different to the art style of our character, which is different again to the art style of the background. Just an observation, because prototype. Okay, so we can use that spell to do stuff. I do quite like how the colour palette is shifting. I'm also quite liking how it's blended here. I don't know whether that's just kind of a layer filter over the top. You did it. You've broken the seal and set me free once more. This bad idea? Also, are our protagonist's feet not touching the floor? So curious, so trusting. Thank you for opening the gates. Now drown in what you've unleashed. Gasp! They are a villain! Whoa! Oh, not the sheep. Oh. Okay. So they were all of them deceived. Okay, straight into the boss fight. I appreciate that. Okay, dashing doesn't give us iframes. I like the pixel art. It's not the most dynamic boss fight in the world, but... Oh. Are we just gonna leave her there? Aren't we just letting her out further now? Oh! Oh, I found the edge of the prototype. As opposed to, I just managed to jump out of the world. Okay. We have got some interesting ideas there. Not really a lot in order to... And not really enough in order to make any kind of decent judgments about what the game could turn out to be like. I do find it quite interesting that the bottom of this graphic basically shows all three enemy types in the prototype. I think in terms of the stuff that I was talking about at the start, the different cultures and so on and so forth, I don't really think there was a lot of that present in this prototype. And I wonder if that's how you are going to sell it on your Kickstarter page. I wonder if that is going to be... I wonder if that's going to be problematic. Let's take a look at the Kickstarter page. Here we go then. Amalu, Wells Between Worlds, a story-driven metroidvania inspired by, and I'm very, very sorry, I'm going to butcher all of the pronunciations here, Amazi and North African folklore about a shepherd crossing realms to restore balance. Got quite a high goal for a month. Obviously, this is converted into British money. Let's take a look. So, this is the prototype that I've just played. When the wells of the Atlas Mountains run dry, a young shepherd follows the moon's reflection into the depths below. Amalu is a mystical, atmospheric pixel art platformer inspired by Amazi and North African folklore. In the demo, players descend into the forgotten wells of the Maghreb, seeking the source of the drought that grips the land. What awaits them below is far from ordinary. Spirits stir in the dark, ancient spells lie hidden, and the legendary Aisha Kandisha guards the waters she has stolen. Really sorry if that's... I like the fact that that's linked to a Wikipedia article that you can check out. Now, with your support, we're ready to grow this demo into the full version we've dreamed of. This Kickstarter will decide whether Amalu stays a small beginning or blossoms into a vast world connected by wells you can truly explore. Pixel art metroidvania blending atmospheric exploration, spellcasting puzzle mechanics, North African mythology, emotional storytelling, combat against spirits, jinn and corrupted myths, unique well-travel mechanics between worlds. That sounds quite interesting. It also, however, sounds like it could simply be a hub mechanic. The demo or release features 6 handcrafted areas, as in rooms, because that didn't feel like areas. Yeah, I'm going to assume that means rooms. It's got 6 rooms currently, which isn't really a huge amount for a demo. 2 connected realms. I like kind of parallel stories like that. A quiet North African forest under a watchful moon, roots, stones and wind hide a well that should remain sealed. A surreal spiritual underworld. Okay. North African landscapes and rural mountain life, beliefs about wells as thresholds to the unseen, myths and other desert spirits, childhood memories of shepherd life. Ah! So these are the different worlds that we could explore via the wells. So, yeah. Act as portals to new underworld biomes, sky caverns, spirit deserts, submerged temples, ruined medinas, shifting dreamscapes. All sound very cool, very different. Visit villages, moonlit plateaus, cedar forests, cliffside pastures, oasis towns, all affected by the drought you're trying to end. Cool, cool, cool. A true folklore metroidvania. I've played a few folklore-inspired metroidvanias, and they've all been really... Oops. Kicking stuff over underneath my desk. They've all been quite interesting from a narrative and inspirational standpoint, but very few of them have been good games. And therein lies the trick, I suppose. Therein lies the challenge for developers. You know, you've got this stuff that you want to base your game on, but you also need to make sure that you do that stuff a service by, you know, the time, the effort, the graft, putting the work in, and creating, more importantly, a good game. Because you can have all the coolest backstory that you want to try and present in the world, but if you haven't got a good game, people aren't going to care. People who buy video games want good video games first, and if the setting is interesting, that just makes it better. But having a good setting without a good game is problematic. And I'm not saying that this is what this is what this prototype's doing, by the way. It's a prototype. I'm just saying that, you know, we want good gameplay first. and we want good settings to support. No, I won't say we. I'll say I. I want good gameplay first and a cool setting that broadens my horizons to support that. I don't want a cool setting that is let down by poor gameplay. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So you play as a mere young shepherd. There's a lot of story stuff. And all of the bits and pieces. I was hoping that there would be a bit more about the mechanics. This is all very broad. This is very broad strokes, and it's very story and background heavy, which is, fine, because it shows that it is narratively different. But this is a metroidvania you are going for. One of the most oversaturated genres in 2026. You have got some big names, some big games to measure yourselves against. Whether you like it or not, unfortunately. I've spoken before in demo videos about the concept of the unique selling points, and I'm going to talk about it again here. I'm going to put the music on in the background so I've got something to talk over. The unique selling point, what makes your game stand out from the crowd? Now, one of the things that I think Tales of Kenzera Zhao tried to do was focus so much on its, especially in its marketing, focus so much on the story side of things, focus so much on the, look at us, we're making a game set in a culture that very few people explore, that there wasn't really a huge amount said about, well, what were the actual mechanics of the game? I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'm going to say it anyway. The setting of your game can be a unique selling point, i.e., we haven't seen many games with this setting. That makes it unique, that makes it different. But what people are looking for, and I'm not just talking about myself now, because I talk to a lot of people that play Metroidvania games. What people are looking for in the Metroidvania space right now is something that is different in terms of gameplay as well as setting. People are burnt out on Soulsvanias, from what I've gathered. People are burnt out on games that are trying too hard to imitate Hollow Knight. People want games that are different and unique, even if it is just one unique mechanic that stands out that nobody has done before. I mean, take a look at Silksong. What does Silksong do that's different from other games? It lets you heal in the air. Basically everything else in Silksong has been done before. Has it been done as well? That's debatable. Has it been done as polished and as pretty? Probably not. That's where the money went, I think. But in terms of that game, they already have the established audience. This does not. You're asking for a pretty big chunk of money at 75k, or what was it, 100? Where's the thing gone? There it is. Yeah, you're looking for $100,000, $100k, which is a big ask when you are presenting us with a short 10 to 15 minute prototype demo and no real details on the page as to what is going to make your game mechanically different. And I kind of feel that maybe you need a bit more. I don't know whether you can update Kickstarter pages after... Actually, no, of course you can. Because I've seen it done with stretch goal stuff, haven't I? But I do think that maybe you could and should add something about, well, what is going to make your game stand out mechanically? What is going to make your game, you know, different in terms of mechanics, in terms of getting around, in terms of abilities, and so on and so forth. Even if it's just, this is what you are aiming for. But as it is, you've got really limited amounts of information about what the game is going to be like. You've got plenty of information about the world and the story, but very little about what the game is going to be like. And unfortunately, this demo is so short, this prototype is so short as to not really help in that regard. And I appreciate that this sounds possibly like I'm being incredibly critical, but you are trying to raise $100,000, which is a massive amount on Kickstarter for a genre that is so saturated when you are showing off very little actual gameplay. I hope that doesn't sound like I'm being too harsh and too critical. Get yourselves some more details on about the mechanics of the game, what you are going for. We've already seen that you've got an air dash. The whole water throwing mechanic we used literally, what, twice? And it didn't really explain what it was doing and why. You know, what kind of map are you going for? What kind of world traversal is there going to be? You need all of this kind of stuff sorted in some ways before you say, yeah, we want a load of money to develop a metroidvania. I think, in my personal opinion. I'm going to keep an eye on this. Anyway, I wish the devs all the best. I don't personally think there is enough here for me to say, yes, I want to back this. But if you can get some more stuff on... assume the devs see this. That's a bold assumption, I appreciate. If you can get more stuff on with some GIFs or some illustrations about, you know, what mechanics you are going to put into your game before the Kickstarter ends, then yeah, I will consider backing it if it looks like something that I would be interested in. It doesn't even necessarily need to be something that is completely unique and hasn't been done before. But as it is, there's not enough here for me to say, oh yeah, this looks super promising, I want to give you my money. Harsh, but hopefully fair enough. Thank you for watching, folks. Have yourselves a wonderful day. This has been a bit of a look at Amalu, Wells Between Worlds. I like the idea. Narratively speaking, there's just not enough here for me to really say, yes, I have an idea about what this game is going to be like and I want to back it because of it. Cheerio. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.